Welcome back to another edition of AI Rabbit Holes. This is a video series where we go down the rabbit hole of artificial intelligence, as there are an endless amount of rabbit holes in this niche. And in this episode, I'm excited to welcome on Nathan Covey. Now, Nathan is the co founder of Harmony, which is an AI voice assistant that helps busy professionals manage their email hands free. And just a fun fact, Nathan is the grandson of Stephen Covey, who wrote The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. So just a fun fact I had to throw out there that Perplexity actually found for me. But Nathan, thank you so much for hopping on this episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So just do a quick background, kind of who you are, maybe talk about before your AI startup with Harmony and just kind of the journey along the way.
Yeah, so I've been a founder for the past like 7 or 8 years. I started in college when I was a sophomore at Brigham Young University. I built my first tech startup when I was a sophomore, which got acquired after a year through a mix of hard work and luck. And I went on to work for another startup that acquired us. And interestingly, we failed with that one. So it was kind of funny to get bought by a startup that ends up failing, but learned a lot. And I actually went back to school after that, finished my degree, and that was just last year. And so last April when I graduated, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? I kind of have some startup experience under my belt, and that's when I started to learn how to code because my background is actually non-technical, so I was more in like the marketing and business
That's
side.
where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I finally made that leap to just like I don't want to rely on other people anymore to build these things. And I've always kind of had like a interest in technical things, so finally started building it, and that kind of got me to today where we started May 1st, so Harmony's still very new. But now we're building this new AI startup and we're really excited about it.
Are you guys bootstrapping or do you have outside money?
We're bootstrapping right now, but we are interested in like we're applying to Y Combinator, and we're interested in getting funding just because we feel like like our vision is really big and that some fundraising could help us. So
Absolutely. I don't know if you know these statistics off the top of your head, but do you know in general, like there's a ton of these different AI startups popping up everywhere and rappers and whatnot. Do you know what the success rate of these AI startups are? And I guess how it would be how you define success, right? Is it an acquisition? Is it, 1 million ARR? Just give me your thoughts on that.
yeah, I don't know what the stats are. I'd assume that it's probably pretty similar to startups in the past where a lot fail, but it might be higher now because the barrier to entry is lower. So there actually might be more failures. That would kind of be my guess. But wait, sorry, what was the second question? I totally forgot.
No, yeah, I guess what would you define as a success then as a startup? Would it just
Oh,
be something?
success.
Yeah.
Success to me, yeah. Success to me, like our goal for Harmony is a long-term organization that creates value. If you just make something that makes a quick buck in a year or two, I wouldn't really define that as successful. I think an exit can definitely be successful, but to me, it's creating a product, putting something out there that provides value for decades, you know? I
So
think
not
those are
just
the
spinning up a fake open AI wrapper and charging, 5x on the API keys.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the rapper theory that like rappers are not valuable, I think it was kind of debunked a little bit. Because if you add in like really good UI UX and like really it works really well for certain edge cases, like there's value in that. Although there's not much of a moat. So yeah, it's interesting. The whole rapper thing is interesting for
Especially in
sure.
the marketing and content and SEO world, there's a million different AI wrappers, and the ones that
Yeah.
really make it, they have two things. They have a good UI and they have very deceptive marketing with the good hooks, and they hire all these
Yeah.
creators to make all these clickbait things. And I'm just like, I hate
Yeah.
all of it, but I can see exactly how they're hitting a
Yeah.
million ARR.
Yeah, like you look at Cal AI is like the ultimate example of that. Like one of us could probably go build that. Are you familiar with Cal AI?
Is that a Calendly
No,
competitor?
it's the MyFitnessPal. It's calorie tracking.
Oh, got it. Okay. I think I've heard
Yeah,
of it.
so forget their ARR, but I think it was like last time I checked, it was like 20 million or something, and they're like starting to rank higher than MyFitnessPal. And literally, it's basically a wrapper, but really good UI UX, good attention to detail, good onboarding, cool branding, and then they got a bunch of influencers behind it. So yeah, I think there's a lot. What we've learned is that if you put a wrapper and with really good marketing, branding, UI, UX, you can kind of create, a valuable company. It's interesting.
Yeah, good marketing can cover up a lot of things, not just in the AI world, but I mean, you could look at any brand, right?
So, sure.
I want to talk about Harmony a little bit more. Why did you decide to go with an AI email voice assistant, right? There are hundreds of different ways to make money with AI these days. What about that specific area stood out to you?
Yeah, so I volunteer for my local church actually, and I'm an executive assistant. So we have like a few leaders of our congregation, and I'm in charge of managing all of their email and calendar. And so the past few months, I've just been so annoyed by like there's because I know the capabilities AI has, and I'm like, why isn't someone building something that can make this all faster? Because I'm spending 5 to 10 hours a week doing like menial tasks. So that's kind of where I started to go down the email and calendar route. And I know that you said you've been saying like Harmony for email, because that's kind of where we're starting, but we're actually adding calendar like in the
Mm.
next week or two. Our vision is to have it become like a full AI executive assistant that has memory, and that can help you manage your email calendar and tasks and save you a bunch of time. And so, yeah, anyways, it's a personal problem I've seen up close. So I kind of want to solve it and I'm hungry to do it.
So kind of like a cheaper, EA executive assistant then for, larger companies, enterprises, even small businesses or solopreneurs. Is that kind of the target audience?
Yes, because like for example, my dad has an executive assistant. He pays like I forget how much he makes. Maybe it's like 60 grand a year, 70 grand a year. And like I my goal is like in the next 5 years to replace that person at $30 a month.
Yeah,
Like,
there's definitely a lot of ways to do that, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we have a big vision, and the kind of the cool thing about ours because we have like direct competitors. Like, there's ones doing almost exactly what we're doing.
I was
Um,
going to ask you that next. I was like, what makes you guys stand out?
Yeah, so I think there's two things. One of them is kind of philosophical, and the other one's technical. So the philosophical thing is, and this actually goes down to my grandfather being Stephen R. Covey. He wrote in his book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People back in 1989 when it first came out. He describes like the perfect planning slash assistant tool. And he talks about all these things it needs to be. He's like, it needs to be portable, it needs to be flexible. A really important thing he talks about in it though is like it needs to have context of your life roles. Like I'm a father, husband, entrepreneur, like all of my roles, and your goals, like what you want to achieve, and like your life mission. And when you put that into the context of your week and in all of the stuff you're doing, it gives priority and it allows you to say no to the things that are, like non important. Um, and it allows you to nudge you and focus you on the golden tasks, which are non urgent, important tasks. Okay. So the thing I've seen now with AI that I feel like none of the other ones are getting is there's no soul to them. It's just like, hey, talk to this thing. Ours, I want it to be like, hey, let it learn a little bit about like your mission in life and like the things you're trying to achieve, and let it autonomously like try to save you time and free up space and help you prioritize the most important things in your life. And so
Yeah.
I want to give ours this whole like flavor, or you could call it like sauce, like the sauce
Is that Greg
of like,
Eisenberg, right? He always talks about the sauce.
yeah, the sauce is going to be like we have this engine that helps you prioritize and not waste time on things that are unimportant. And I kind of want to inject it with that. So that's like more like philosophical. The other thing is technical. So I just recruited a technical co-founder. And are you familiar with like MCP servers?
Yeah, yeah, within Claude and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're using these right now, and everyone else is because, for example, if you go into the Harmony app right now and be like, "Hey, um, what are my most recent emails?" Right? It will use a Gmail MCP server. It'll make an
Mm.
API call to that to then access your emails. And the AI tool or the AI selects from a list of tools, right, for that MCP server. We're actually like it's good for now, but we're actually pretty bearish on MCP servers long
Really?
term. Yeah, it's great right now, and I think it's pushing us in the right direction. The reason why is we're always going to be dependent if we're using MCP servers on what other companies are making available via their APIs, and the speed at which they make it available.
Mm,
So like we have companies like Gmail that, yeah, they have like a lot of good APIs and stuff, but like what about like other things we'd want an assistant to do, like book you a flight? Like
right.
When is Delta gonna have a I know like New Zealand Airlines just released like an MCP server. They seem to be a little innovative, but like when are the major airlines gonna have that? Or when is DoorDash or Instacart or like Amazon? Like our bet is that computer use is going to take over and bury MCP servers. Which are you familiar with computer use?
Are you talking like Claude computer use, right?
Yeah, when I say computer use, I'm just saying where the AI has video understanding and can click and
So like an agent per se.
yes, something that can, rather than, oh, I connected to the back end of these APIs, give it tools, I give it access to like my screen or my
Yeah,
device,
yeah, yeah.
and it can go and just click things like a human would. So my technical co-founder is super deep into this stuff. Like he's on the edge. He's been doing research for years, and we're actually training our own computer use model, specifically from the angle of like AI executive assistant, so that the AI can actually go beyond just MCP servers and APIs. And hopefully, it's probably going to take us a year or two to really get this, but we're cooking it right now. But where it could be a lot more useful, because it actually understands user interfaces like a human does.
The thing that's
So,
really
anyways,
interesting to me about that, I apologize for cutting you off there. The thing that's
no,
really interesting to me is the data privacy and data security element behind these agents and computer use. They're getting access to your Gmail. What about payment information if they try to book flights or buy anything else? Like, what are your thoughts around the data privacy security issues surrounding MCPs, agents, and all that good stuff?
yeah, I think the solution is we need to make it as local as possible. Just because no matter if you put it on a server, you just never know what could happen.
Right. And I don't trust
Um,
big tech whatsoever.
Yeah, and like obviously I want to say like we have good like right now in Harmony like it's like it's encrypted and like we have really good security practices, but what we need to happen to alleviate people's worries with this is we need AI models to be like on we need stuff to happen on device where they're not going through someone's server, but
Right.
rather it's going like directly to that API from that service provider. And I think that's probably the solution to that. And our models are getting there. They're getting smaller and smaller, where you can like have them on a phone and a computer, but we're not quite there. But
You don't have to give the
yeah,
secret sauce here, but are you guys powering this with like OpenAI, Anthropic? Like, what are you guys doing behind the scenes here?
yeah. I'm happy to. I mean, I'm transparent. Like someone could probably copy pretty quickly what we're doing right now. But so the first thing is with voice, latency is like the most important thing. And so we actually use right now we're leveraging a company for voice AI infrastructure. It's called LiveKit.
Okay. I'm not
Um,
familiar with that one.
yeah, unless you're in voice, like you probably have never heard of it. But they basically allow you to connect like an OpenAI LLM and text to speech and speech to text tools, and they give you the foundation where you glue all that together and you actually make it like work quickly for people when they ask questions they can get a response back, you know.
Yeah.
So we're using LiveKit for our and then it's we've been kind of just testing. So there's with voice there's two different ways to do voice AI right now. One is a real-time model where it actually has LLM, text to speech, and speech to text like all bundled together. And this is it's kind of early still, this technology, but the voices are like really good and the latency is the best with that. But it's not as flexible with different edge cases and like using MCP servers and using
Right.
tools and stuff. So we're not using that, but that is an option. The other way is you set your speech to text tool, so a user talks, it converts it to text. You put your LLM, so it takes that text and it interprets it, like what to respond or what to do. And then you have text to speech, where you take that text and then you put it back into speech. So it can, and this is kind of like the best way to do voice AI right now. So you could actually swap in different providers, each of these three slots, depending on who's the best. So we're using for speech to text, we're using DeepGram. They have really good latency. It's really fast. for
Interesting. I've been using 11 Labs a lot for my professional voice
yeah,
clone with like my, well, you know, with like my clone videos
yeah.
and whatnot. So I don't know if 11 Labs is using that technology. I guess I'm not familiar with the AI voice world yet.
Yeah, 11 Labs is really good. So yeah, LLM we're using OpenAI, and then text to speech we're actually using Cartesia,
Mm,
which is a competitor of 11 Labs.
I've
The
heard of
reason we're
them. Yeah.
not using the reason we're not using 11 Labs is they're a little slower than Cartesia,
Expensive too.
and it's the most expensive. Cartesia we felt like was the best balance of like speed, cost, quality.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, yeah.
I want to shift over now to the build and public side. You just mentioned you're transparent about a lot of what you do, and I follow you on X for a while now. You definitely are in that build and public crowd. A lot of founders kind of wait until it's perfect to do that build and public route. I guess why do that with all the potential negative impacts of negative SEO attacks, someone stealing your ideas? Why the build and public route?
Um, I think it works. Like if you do it well, like I had like 400 followers on Twitter a year ago.
Definitely grown a
And
lot since then.
yeah, and I just said, I woke up one day, I was like, I'm just gonna, I wasn't even building Harmony at the time. I didn't even know what I was doing. And I just woke up and I was like, I'm just gonna start sharing things that I'm doing and things that I find interesting every day. And fast forward to today, I have like 11,000 followers, and our whole initial like our beta users and like all of our first paying customers have come from that for Harmony. So yeah, I think if you do it well and you do it consistently and you share like interesting things, transparent things, and like valuable things to people, I think it definitely works. And yeah, there's the risk of people stealing your ideas, but if your advantage is that you're like 2 months ahead because someone hasn't thought of it yet, then you're not going to win long term.
Yeah,
Like so that shouldn't be a reason. And then with like, yeah, people might DDoS attack you. They might like do things like that, but I think that's better to happen early on than later.
yeah.
Like it's gonna happen to you eventually. Might as well happen when you have a few hundred users.
Yeah, I've
So
seen the negative. I've been in the SEO world, and I've seen like the negative SEO attacks. You know what a
oh
DMCA
yeah.
takedown request is? I've seen a ton of
Oh,
fake
what?
a DMCA takedown request.
I don't know what that
Oh yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. So this is like an SEO Google search results thing. But yeah, a lot of competitors, it's like a black hat tactic. They'll send these fake DMCA requests, claiming to be an authority, hoping that you take down a page on
Uh,
your site, so you're out of the SERPs. Right? It's really gimmicky in that world.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen all the black hat tricks for sure. I want
interesting.
to talk about your content creation efforts now, kind of on a similar note there. You don't have a big team or a huge media budget, obviously, to create the content that you're doing. Are you using AI at all to kind of assist you with the content creation efforts or I guess marketing efforts in general?
I actually use very little AI. Sometimes if I'm typing out a longer form post, I'll like ask AI, hey, how could I like make this more brief, or like how could I make this better? But most of my stuff on Twitter is like short form and it's just off the cuff. And I found that AI isn't good at that. It's usually like super like cringe, or like it's obvious it's AI. So I actually don't use AI very much. And the interesting thing is my co-founder and I've actually been part-time on this last few months. Like we've done a lot, but like we're really excited to go. I'm hoping we can go full time here soon, by the end of the year, and I think that's gonna allow us to even create more content and stuff. But yeah, I've kind of just my whole strategy has just been like do cool stuff and then talk about it.
Let me
Um,
ask you this, Stephen. If you could go, or Nathan, sorry, I was thinking of your grandpa there for a sec. I had a little mix up. If you could go back to kind of the first days of you being in the startup world, maybe just the AI startup world, if there was one thing you could change or do differently looking back, what would that be?
I would have learned to become technical earlier.
Really?
Yeah,
Not just
yeah,
vibe coding. We're talking about actually knowing
yeah.
what good is, right?
If you would have put me back like 4 or 5 years ago, I probably would have got a degree in computer science. I got a degree in business management instead. I probably would have done that, and I probably would have tried to get technical because, like, I feel pretty powerful right now. I've been learning to code for a year and a half, but like senior engineers right now, like that are using AI, are like unbelievably advantaged.
Yeah, I think Naval
So
Ravikant had a quote about that or something where he's like, "Those who know code run the world," or something along those lines. And like in the age of AI, I think he couldn't be more right with that.
yeah, I agree. I agree. There's this. Are you familiar with Paul Graham?
Heard the name.
Yeah, so he's the founder of Y Combinator. And he writes like famous startup essays. But one thing that kind of convinced me in one of his essays to become technical was he says the reason why you need to know how to actually do the art or the work is the resistance of the medium brings creative ideas. And I like it's so true now that I've like learned it. It's like now that I actually like know the ins and outs of things and like I know how things work, ideas that I never would have had before without that deep knowledge, they wouldn't have even come to my head because you figure out the restraints, you figure out kind of like what it feels like and like yeah, what it does well, what it doesn't do well. And I think you're able to like innovate a lot more when you actually can are in the resistance of the medium.
It's
So
all about knowing what good looks like, right? Like in my world, I've been getting into a lot of AI automations in the past 6 to 12 months, and I'm not technical whatsoever, but you see all these crazy N8N, 100 node automations. Oh my God, get my free guide. This looks so cool. And it's like, yeah, but if you don't actually know what good looks like inside those module or node inputs, everything is just irrelevant at that point. So I
yeah.
hate when people say, like, oh, I want to automate it or I want to build all these automations. But you don't even know what you're optimizing for. So there's just all
Mm,
trends towards this shiny object, silver bullet syndrome, I call it, towards the automation stuff. But you need to figure out what good looks like before we even go down that rabbit hole.
yes, agreed.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at right now with all the marketing and content automation stuff. So, Nathan, I'm going to run you through some rapid fire AI questions now as we kind of conclude this episode of AI rabbit holes. My first one here for you is: what's your big AI prediction for the next 6 to 12 months, just in general?
6 to 12 months. We're gonna just keep seeing assistants and agents take over. I think we're gonna see them uh, existing like companies like incubants, especially. I think especially in the direct to consumer space. You go to the app store, you look at the charts. It's like been the same apps for like 10 years. You have some sprinkled in. I think we're gonna see like a massacre of like these old apps being kind of just taken over by startups using AI agents and assistants. So that's one of my predictions.
Someone asked me, like, Ryan, what's yours? And I said, well, actually, mine is the dead internet theory is no longer a theory no more. With all the agents
Oh,
and like the bots, like you can't tell me that there's no
yeah,
the dead internet theory doesn't exist. It's legit. It's happening in real time.
yeah, yeah. Social media will get once they can solve like every captcha, and once they're writing and their content's good enough to not
Captures are huge.
notice.
Yeah.
And once it's good enough to not notice, because you can still tell if something's been written by AI. Obviously, images are getting really hard. Videos are
VO3 with
still,
video. I mean, that stuff's
yeah.
pretty good too.
Once you cannot tell, yeah, the dead internet theory. That, like, I wonder if we're gonna see a counter trend and people are just gonna like not want to be on the internet anymore because they don't know what's real and fake. It's gonna be really interesting.
I always tell people, I'm like, the ultimate thing to worry about right now is not, AI with robots and Terminator taking over the world. The major inflection point is when the average person doesn't know what's real and what's not. Obviously, we're there, right? We're in the AI world, but I think of people above 50 or 60 years old who doesn't
Oh,
even know that this technology exists. Like there's such a huge gap there. And I think once those
yeah,
people start to understand, like, well, what is that? Do I believe it? Is it AI? Is it not? Think of the trickle down impact that has on the economy because when you don't have trust, you're not going to buy something, so on and so forth. Right? There's a lot of negative impacts to that.
yeah, yeah. I made a post this week on LinkedIn where I kind of talk about this paradox of like I'm super bullish on AI. Like it can make humanity way better, and like we can accomplish tons of things. At the same time, we have to like rein it back a little bit, and like otherwise things could get really scary. It's like a two. There's two sides to the coin.
Yeah, and
So
big tech's getting bigger too, but that's a whole other
yeah.
conversation.
Oh yeah.
Let's continue with the rapid fire here. So, what's your hot take on AI? If you had to give me one,
I feel like most hot takes actually are hot takes. This is probably one of them.
that's a
But
good one.
no one is using AI really that well right now.
I
Like
agree.
every company you go to their website and it's like we have AI and they literally just like shoved like a side chat bar into their existing technology. And so I don't think it's a hot take. Like I think most people's AI implementations suck.
And most people just pull up the window on ChatGPT and
Yeah,
they're asking the search bar and they think
yeah,
they're ahead. They're using AI. I'm like,
yeah.
you guys are like a
W-
year
We
behind at this
we
point.
need to
Yeah.
reinvent apps from the ground up, build it from scratch, literally. Like if I was like a big incubant, I would like just have a team working on a brand new version from the ground up of like Gmail. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't try to add it to the existing one. I'd just be like, let's rethink it from scratch, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're doing that.
Last one I
Oh,
have for you here. This is kind of on a similar note as we were just talking about. Do you think in general AI is more overhyped right now or underutilized when it comes to actual real world application?
underutilized. The hype is super high, but it's actually like I actually think it's there. Whereas like a few years ago, if you remember like blockchain and cryptocurrency, I feel like the hype was here and like the actual utility was like way lower. I feel like it's a little closer here, and I feel like most people actually haven't. Like Exhibit A is Apple. Like look at Siri, look at Apple Intelligence. Like it's so underused, and like in the most used phone in the world. So it's
And Apple's
underutilized.
actually kind of behind in the AI race right now, which is super interesting.
Oh, they're like the most behind out of all the big tech companies.
Yeah, I agree. It's really underutilized. My litmus test where I live is I always ask people, I'm like, have you ever used Claude? We're like, Claude, who's that? I've never heard of
Oh,
him.
yeah,
So they
yeah,
don't even know what this
yeah,
stuff is.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
People know
Well,
ChatGPT.
yeah, just Chat
Yeah.
GPT. People think Chat GPT and AI is the same thing. They don't understand
Yes.
any
Yep.
other application
Yep.
beyond that.
Yep. Yep.
But anyways, Nathan, this has been fun. Appreciate you hopping on this edition of AI Rabbit Holes. Last question I have for you. Where can people follow you online to learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah. Twitter's the best place because I guess it's called X now because I post there like every day. So yeah, just search Nathan Covey on X and my account should show up.
And
So
obviously, Harmony's website. I'll give you those backlinks too, for sure.
oh oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nathan.
HarmonyAssistant.com.
All right. I'll leave that in the description below, along with your X profile, and your YouTube channel as well. I completely forgot about that. I'll
Yeah,
leave
yeah. I need to post on that more though. Hopefully, when I go full time, I can start doing that more.
for sure. We'll look forward to seeing it. Nathan, thank you again for hopping on this edition of AI Rabbit Holes, and thanks again to everyone for watching or listening to this edition. Be sure to tune in again next time.